husband is HIV positive and didn't disclose I'm in Thailand and have recently discovered that my husband is HIV positive. We met in 2017 and got married in 2018. I asked him before we got married about his status and he said he was negative. He had been taking antiretroviral. A marriage shattered by deception. I'm currently in Thailand and have been shocked to learn that my spouse has been living with HIV for nearly a decade. We initially met in 2017 and exchanged our vows in a ceremony 2 years later. Before our wedding, I inquired about his health status, and he assured me that he was HIV-free. However, unbeknownst to me, he had been taking antiretroviral medications in private since 2016. His deception has left me feeling utterly deceived and my trust in him shattered. I'm struggling to reconcile my past perceptions with this newfound truth. The weight of this discovery has left me questioning whether our relationship can ever be salvaged. Should I continue in this marriage? Edit: no changes were made to the original text. Update: this text has been rewritten to provide a different narrative while maintaining the core issue. TLDR: a woman in Thailand is grappling with the aftermath of discovering her husband's secret HIV diagnosis, which was concealed from her before their marriage. Company is making employees pay for walkouts at the restaurant I work at. Hello every. So my manager just sent a text, which I will post below, saying all servers are responsible for 50% of the bill for walkouts. Is this legal? I'm in CA and the company is a franchise. Controversy over employee liability for walkouts at local restaurant. I recently received a text message from my manager that has left me questioning the fairness and legality of our workplace policies. The message stated that all servers are now responsible for 50% of the bill for walkouts, which is essentially when customers leave without paying their check. I'm based in California and our company is a franchise. The message also referred to us as independent sales representatives, but I'm not entirely clear on what this designation entails and how it may impact our rights as employees. Is it still possible that our employer could legally hold us accountable for walkouts? I want my mail, so I get the mail before my partner does, and as a courtesy I throw away all the junk and stuff that nobody wants to look at. My partner recently mentioned that he hadn't been getting any mail and he wondered where it was. So, like a thoughtful person, I set aside a thoughtful gesture as someone who gets to the mailbox first. I like to take care of the task of sorting through the mail before my partner does. I'll get rid of any unwanted advertisements and unnecessary correspondence, making it easier for them to focus on the important stuff. However, my partner recently expressed concern that he hadn't been receiving any mail, which led me to wonder if I was inadvertently withholding it from him. In an attempt to rectify the situation, I started setting aside every item addressed to him and allowing him to open them all at his leisure. Although this gesture was well-intentioned, it didn't take long for my partner to politely suggest that I only pass along the items he actually needs to see, rather than everything that bears his name. Edit: this story is a heartwarming example of a thoughtful gesture gone slightly awry, ultimately leading to a compromise that benefits both partners. Update: it's not uncommon for couples to develop their own systems for managing household tasks, and this story highlights the importance of communication and finding a solution that works for everyone. TLDR: a partner's thoughtful gesture to sort and prioritize their partner's mail ultimately leads to a compromise and a better system for managing their household tasks. They defend themselves in their thoughts, when there is in reality no need to. Example: yesterday I went to the doctor's. A young woman was there with a service dog. The dog wore a vest saying, "Do not pet. Service animal." Of course, I didn't pet the dog. But the thing unnecessarily. Some people's minds are wired to respond defensively, even when there's no cause for concern. For instance, a recent visit to the doctor's office left me pondering this phenomenon. A woman accompanied by a service dog entered the waiting room. The dog was clearly marked as a service animal, with a prominent vest warning people not to touch it. I adhered to the warning, refraining from petting the dog as instructed. However, my mind started racing, and I found myself mentally justifying my actions. I didn't touch the dog. I respected its purpose. This ingrained need to defend myself, even when there's no justification, remains a lingering aspect of my behavior. TLDR, in some cases, people's minds might be prone to unnecessary defensive responses, even when there's no legitimate reason to do so. Edit. I used this story to explore the idea of defensive behavior and how it might be an ingrained habit. Update. This topic is part of a larger discussion about the complexities of human psychology and how our thoughts and behaviors can be shaped by our experiences and environments. Girlfriend signed lease but now wants to back out. New York girlfriend and I both signed a lease to rent an apartment starting in June. She broke up with me and is now saying she won't be moving in and does not intend to pay any rent toward this apartment. If I continue to, lease commitment raises questions after breakup. New York, a recently ended relationship has left one party with concerns regarding a signed lease agreement. My ex-girlfriend and I both signed the lease in June for an apartment in New York, expecting her to move in. However, after our breakup, she now claims she will not be occupying the space and does not intend to contribute to the rent. Given the situation, does my ex-girlfriend remain legally responsible for paying rent on the apartment if I continue to hold her to the terms of the lease? Could her failure to fulfill her commitment result in her being held accountable for any portion of the rent due to the signed agreement? TLDR, ex-girlfriend signed lease but wants out after breakup, unsure if she remains responsible for rent. Edit. I'll be keeping this post updated with any new developments or advice I may receive. Update. I will add updates on any communication with my ex-girlfriend, our landlord, or any other parties involved in this situation. AITA. My mom wants to name my brother Zaza and it's fucking me up inside. I'm 17. Found out my mom is naming my brother Zaza and it breaks my heart that I'm powerless to help him. Everyone has told her this is an awful name and the only runner-up is Azrael. She sent an urban. My mom's naming choice for my brother is absolutely crushing me as a 17-year-old. I recently discovered my mom has decided to name my upcoming sibling Zaza, a decision that has left me feeling helpless and distraught. Despite numerous people sharing their disapproval of this name, my mom seems determined to go through with it, with Azrael being her only other consideration. When I brought up concerns, she sent me an Urban Dictionary definition as a supposed justification for her choice. Given our family's white, middle-class background in America, I'm finding it increasingly difficult to accept this name for my brother. After spending an hour pleading with my mom to reconsider, I'm left wondering if I'm overreacting or if I'm justified in feeling this way. TLDR. My mom wants to name my brother Zaza, and I'm losing it over it. AITA for trying to convince her otherwise? Grade 4 journal entry. When I was 9, I was required to write 250 words a day on pretty much whatever. I had forgotten about the assignment one day and panicked, so I went home and printed off a picture of the Mona Lisa, and cut it into 4 equal pieces. I pasted it to my paper A. Grade 4 journal entry. When I was 9 years old, I received an assignment to write 250 words per day on any topic I chose. One day, I completely forgot about the task, so I rushed home. I pulled up a famous image on my computer, printed it out, and carefully cut it into 4 equal sections. I glued these sections onto my paper, accompanied by a bold statement: 1 image equals 1,000 words. This is a quarter of an image. To my surprise, I scored full marks on the assignment. My teacher's comment, however, was not exactly what I was hoping for. It simply read, "Ha ha, don't try this again." I stopped sharing when I realized that no one really cares about me. I don't share my life with anyone anymore. I keep everything to myself. My goals, accomplishments, and failures. I stopped sharing when I realized that no one really cares about me. Edit. I didn't expect this. I've withdrawn my openness, realizing it's pointless to share my life with others. Everything about me is now locked away, hidden from the world. I no longer discuss my aspirations, triumphs, or setbacks. This silence began when I understood that people are apathetic towards my well-being. Edit. I didn't anticipate this reaction, as this space was intended for my personal reflections. I hope you're all doing well and have found someone who truly cares and can offer support. It's surprising how many people can connect with my feelings. Take care, Red Heart. Does anyone else feel like their parents wanted a baby but not a person to raise? I have no idea if the title makes sense. I guess it's just something I've come to realize. My mom always makes comments like she wishes I was smaller. Why can't I be 2 again? Why can't we? It's as if my family assumed I'd be a simple, effortless addition to their lives, rather than a complex and ever-changing individual. I'm not entirely sure what prompted this realization, but it's a notion I've begun to grasp. My mother frequently makes comments that suggest she longs for a time when I was younger, smaller, and more manageable. Her words often echo with a yearning to rewind the clock, to return to a simpler era when I was still a child, and all the associated challenges and growth that come with maturity were still in the future. It's almost as if she envisioned me as a miniature, obedient being, free from the turmoil that naturally accompany a person's development. She appears to have overlooked the intricate and often messy process of raising a person, with all its unique needs, emotions, and experiences. TLDR. A person reflects on their mother's comments and realizes she may have initially only wanted a child, not a fully formed person, and the difficulties that come with raising a growing individual. Our babies are coming. Sister, DH and I are on our way to the hospital now. We aren't calling anyone but my mom. Loa will have to wait until we call her. Hopefully she does. Joyful news ahead. Excitement is building as we prepare to welcome our new additions. My sister, her husband, and I are heading to the hospital right now. Our news will be shared with just one person initially, my mom. We'll have to hold off on telling little orphan Annie until we've spoken with her. I'm a bit apprehensive about her reaction, keeping my fingers crossed. My sister has kindly thanked everyone for their kind wishes. Meanwhile, my mother-in-law is attempting to reach my brother-in-law. I must take our leave, but I'd appreciate your good thoughts and prayers for us during this time. I lied to my husband. We got high tonight. I ordered a big cheese pizza and some jalapeno poppers. I said, "This was a good idea, thank you, honey." He replied back, "Oh, did I suggest this little feast?" Me. "Of course, don't you remember?" Him. He. A guilty admission. As the night wore on, my husband and I decided to indulge in a late-night snack. I ordered a large cheese pizza and some jalapeno poppers, hoping to treat us to a midnight delight. Smiling, I told my husband, "This was a fantastic idea, thank you, sweetheart." However, my husband's response caught me off guard. He chuckled and said, "Did I actually suggest this little spread?" I tried to play it cool, but I knew I was caught. "Of course, darling. Don't you remember?" I asked, trying to cover. But my husband wasn't buying it. He. "No," he replied, his eyes sparkling with amusement. In reality, the idea hadn't been his at all. I had wanted to surprise him with a late-night snack, and I thought it would be nice if he thought he was the one behind it. Edit. I'm not sure why I felt the need to lie in the first place. Was it a desire for validation or just a silly joke gone wrong? Either way, it's a lesson learned. TLDR. I ordered a late-night snack and lied to my husband about him suggesting it. Why is it that when you're successful, people make assumptions that your parents are good parents, when your accomplishments are not theirs and you succeeded in spite of them and not because of them? Why is it that when you're successful, people make assumptions that you're the notion that successful individuals owe their achievements to their parents' exemplary parenting is a misconception that often overlooks the true story of determination and perseverance. It is as if people believe that a person's success is solely a reflection of their upbringing, rather than their own hard work and resilience. This assumption can be particularly hurtful to those who have overcome difficult circumstances to reach their goals. It implies that their achievements are somehow less valid or less deserving of recognition because they didn't have the perfect upbringing. The reality is that success often requires a combination of talent, opportunity, and a willingness to push through obstacles. It's time to shift the focus from the parents to the individual. We need to recognize that success is often the result of a person's own efforts, rather than the sum of their parents' efforts. By doing so, we can create a more nuanced understanding of what it takes to achieve greatness. Edit no editing was made on this response. Update no update was added to this response. TLDR: people often assume that successful individuals' accomplishments are a direct result of their parents' good parenting, overlooking the individual's hard work and resilience. This assumption can be hurtful and overlooks the true story of determination and perseverance. Free pretzel with any purchase. I was in Las Vegas last week and the Auntie Anne's on the Strip was running a promotion for free pretzel with any purchase. Of course, the gimmick is that drink prices are hiked up to cover the cost of the promotion, so a normally $1.50 drink is pretzel deal on the Strip. During my recent visit to Las Vegas, I discovered a clever marketing strategy at an Auntie Anne's location on the Strip. The catch was that customers could claim a complimentary pretzel with any purchase, but at a slight cost. Essentially, the price of drinks had been inflated to compensate for the free pretzel offer. What was once a $1.50 drink had now ballooned to $3. Upon entering the store, I inquired about the price of the dipping sauces. The cashier seemed to anticipate my next question and hesitated momentarily before responding, 50 cents. Choosing not to indulge in the overpriced dipping sauce, I opted to take my 50 cents free pretzel outside and enjoy it. I got my first period at Disneyland. I was 13-ish. I told my mom, and she got angry with me. She got me a pad and, in front of another lady in the bathroom, said in a serious and exacerbated tone, "Did you have to get your period now?" I remember feeling mostly confused by her. A traumatic milestone of adolescence took place at the happiest place on earth for me, Disneyland. It was a summer when I was 13. And I suddenly found myself amidst the excitement and chaos of a family vacation. As I realized the sudden and unwelcome change in my body, I nervously sought out my mother for guidance and comfort. However, my mother's reaction left me bewildered. Upon discovering the truth about my first period, she displayed a mix of frustration and disappointment. She hastily procured a sanitary pad for me, then awkwardly commented to another woman in the bathroom about the timing of my menstrual cycle, emphasizing the inconvenience it had caused. I recall feeling embarrassed and confused, unsure of how to process my emotions or her reaction. Years later, as I confided in her about a minor accident I'd been involved in, being hit by a vehicle, fortunately without any serious harm, her response continued the pattern of blame and criticism. She began our conversation by stating, "What did you do that for?" This question not only disregarded my well-being but also reinforced my perception that my mistakes, whether they were under my control or not, were somehow a reflection of my character. This experience raises questions about the dynamics between a person with narcissism WIBTA. If I said my 10-year-old son couldn't have a sleepover because his brother wasn't invited? They are twins. They have very different personalities, but hang out with the same group. A is very shy and N is very social. N was invited to a sleepover by his best friend and A was not. Would I be the a-hole if I stopped my 10-year-old son from having a sleepover because his twin brother wasn't invited? My twins, though sharing the same age, have distinct personalities. N is sociable and always surrounded by friends, whereas A is shy and hasn't yet developed a close-knit group. Recently, A's desire for friendship was dealt a harsh blow when N's best friend invited him to a sleepover but not A. It appears N's friend explicitly stated that A wasn't welcome because he was too annoying. I want N to learn the value of standing up for his brother when he faces exclusion. Edit: this scenario requires a delicate balance between teaching the children empathy and encouraging N to assert himself in a socially complex situation. TLDR: my 10-year-old twins have different personalities. My socially outgoing son is invited to a sleepover, but not his shy brother, due to his friend's claim that A is annoying. I want my son N to support his brother and stand up for him. How'd I ask my parents to be a little more quiet in bed? This is a really awkward situation and has been going on for a while, but 15M, I feel like something has to be done now. I can basically hear my 34F, 35M parents doing it almost every weekend. It's horrible to listen to. Navigating a sensitive request with family members. I'm facing an uncomfortable situation that has been ongoing for some time, and I've come to realize it's time to address it. As a teenager, I value my sleep, and unfortunately, I've found myself constantly aware of my parents' activities in the bedroom, which takes place almost every weekend. The noise levels are significant, making it difficult for me to sleep without external aid. I've considered using earbuds or earplugs, but I prefer to sleep without any additional barriers between me and a restful night. However, the reality is that I can clearly hear the sounds coming from the bedroom, including moans, slapping, and occasionally gagging sounds, which have become increasingly bothersome for me. TLDR: ask parents to be more considerate of your sleep by being more quiet in the bedroom. You have a very rude personality. I hope you know that. Ah yes, I forgot, actually having boundaries is a very rude thing and I should be disgusted with myself. It's amusing how when my NMOM approves of something I'm doing, I'm a kind, caring person. It's striking how others can view assertiveness as rudeness. When I prioritize my own needs and establish limits, I'm perceived as inconsiderate, yet when I'm simply being myself and doing what feels right, I'm met with praise. My non-mom's words can be hurtful, suggesting that self-respect is somehow wrong. I've come to realize that asserting my boundaries is essential to my well-being. If others see this as rude, then that's their perspective. It's not about changing who I am to please others, it's about staying true to myself. What would I say in response to her comments? I love how I can't afford a house now. Circa 2020 I could afford a house on my current pay. I make roughly $65,000 a year in Alabama. I should be easily able to afford a starter home. Unfortunately, Gen X is buying up homes for $50K and putting laminate wood flooring and paint. It's disheartening to think about the changing affordability of homes. In 2020, I could have reasonably purchased a starter home based on my annual income, which is approximately $65,000 in Alabama. Considering my salary, I expected it would be feasible to own a home. However, the current housing market has made it increasingly challenging. Many Gen X individuals are buying starter homes at significantly low prices, often in the range of $50,000. They then proceed to renovate the properties with features like laminate wood flooring and fresh paint, only to resell them at exorbitant prices, upwards of $150,000. This practice seems morally questionable, as it capitalizes on the housing market's instability and exploits the efforts of first-time homebuyers like myself. I can only hope that those responsible for this phenomenon will face financial consequences when the housing bubble inevitably bursts. Edit. I'm unwilling to spend $150,000 on a home that initially sold for $50,000, even if I could secure financing for the inflated price. Got drunk on New Year's and sent a bunch of text messages telling everyone to have a happy new year. Turns out my buddy was about to shoot himself. Buddy, who I have known for a while though lived in another city, called me up and said I was the only person to reach out to him. A night of revelry on New Year's Eve left me with a fuzzy memory, but a clear recollection of sending out a flurry of messages wishing friends a happy new year. However, the celebrations were short-lived, as I soon received a frantic call from a close friend in another city. He revealed that I was one of the few people he had reached out to on that fateful night, and that he had been holding a gun, contemplating ending his life. I was relieved to hear that he agreed to undergo therapy and is now receiving antidepressant medication. This harrowing experience has left me reflecting on the situation, and a mutual friend subsequently advised me that I may benefit from seeking therapy as well, given the gravity of the situation. I'm still uncertain about the wisdom of her words. I lied about holidays. My mother invited herself to come stay with me for up to 2 weeks at a time over either Thanksgiving or Christmas. Hardly paid for anything, didn't lift a finger, left messes everywhere, eavesdropped, no boundaries, you all know the drill. This year, when the holiday deception, when my mother proposed spending her holidays with me, I knew it would be a nightmare. She wanted to stay for up to 2 weeks at a time, over either Thanksgiving or Christmas, without contributing much to our household, leaving behind a trail of messes and disregarding my personal boundaries. This year, I decided to take a different approach. When she asked about her travel plans, mentioning that she was looking at airfares, I responded with a carefully crafted excuse. I would be traveling during both holidays. To my surprise, and perhaps even delight, she remained silent. It was a moment of triumph for me, as I felt a weight lift off my shoulders, and a sense of self-respect wash over me. TLDR: the author's mother wanted to stay for an extended period over the holidays, but the author had had enough and came up with an excuse to avoid the situation. My father hit my mother over juice. He said it was his juice. That we shouldn't have drank it. But we were so thirsty and I was feeling lightheaded that I insisted even though she warned us it was his. He came home, saw the juice gone. He hit her, shoved her by her glasses and a dispute arose in our home over a carton of juice. My father claimed it as his own and scolded us for consuming it, even though we had been parched and desperate. My mother had cautioned us about drinking it, but I had been too weak and thirsty to heed her warning. When my father arrived home and discovered the juice was gone, he became enraged. In a fit of anger, he physically assaulted my mother, pushing her and causing a bruise under her eye to swell. His hurtful words only added to her distress as he stormed out of the room, leaving her to weep alone in the kitchen. As my siblings and I sat in stunned silence, we realized that my mother had not even tasted the juice, yet she bore the brunt of my father's wrath. Meanwhile, he retreated to the comfort of his bed, while she struggled to come to terms with the violence she had endured. Revenge by doing nothing at all. I was in a volunteer group, and due to some petty politics, long story, I was told I was no longer welcome there. Well, for years, I had maintained the website, and even paid for the hosting out of my own pocket. When I got the emails reminding, a silent rebuttal to betrayal as an active member of a local volunteer organization, I found myself unfairly pushed out due to internal conflicts. Over the course of several years, I had taken it upon myself to manage the group's website, covering the costs of hosting from my own finances. When notifications arrived requesting payment to maintain the site or risk its removal, I deliberately chose to remain inactive. The result is a website now offline, its domain name seized by another entity, and crucial data are retrievable from the hosting service. Woman wants to buy a vanity from a yard sale but also wants it delivered to the address she never provided and set up for her. Found this gem on Facebook and it fits perfectly in this sub. Here is the context. My neighbor and I are having a yard sale. I posted about it on. A woman discovered a unique opportunity to acquire a vanity at a yard sale and was determined to have it delivered to her doorstep. Found this post on a social media platform that fits perfectly in this category. Here is the context. I'm hosting a yard sale with my neighbor. We advertised the event on various local groups, including yard sales, sales and trade, and community pages. The response was overwhelmingly positive, and we had a good turnout. However, one individual's behavior was particularly noteworthy. Update. We were removed from a group by this same person, and we consider it a positive outcome. Doubts about my daughter's nationality. I'm Brazilian and my husband is American. We live in Brazil since we got married. I'm pregnant and I want to give birth in Brazil, but my in-laws insist that I gave birth in US. They said if my daughter is born and registered in US, she WOU. Questions about my child's citizenship as a Brazilian citizen. Married to an American. We've made Brazil our home since our wedding. We're expecting a child and I'd prefer to give birth here, but my husband's family is adamant that I do so in the US. They claim that having her birth registered in the US would grant our daughter several benefits in the future, making it more advantageous than being registered in Brazil. She will be raised in Brazil and hold dual nationality, but would the US registration provide any real advantages in her future? So creeped out, gifted AirTag already opened and installed. My mom has been asking me to check the mail the past few days for a Christmas gift. It came today. I didn't open it right away but decided to just go for it. For some reason thinking it would be something nice. A chilling surprise, opened Apple AirTag discovered, my mother has been asking me to check the mail lately, as I suspected a Christmas gift was on its way. It finally arrived today, but instead of unwrapping it immediately, I decided to delay the moment of truth. My intuition told me it might be something pleasant, but the reality was far from it. The unassuming gift turned out to be an Apple AirTag, its matching case, and a loop to attach it to my keychain. A seemingly innocuous combination. At 30 years old, I've accumulated enough life experience to feel uneasy when faced with something that seems off. The Apple AirTag has left me with a lingering sense of unease, reminiscent of past experiences. I wanted to share this feeling with others who might understand its underlying significance. The gift's lack of instructions or original packaging only adds to its unsettling nature. The AirTag's presence feels deliberate, bordering on invasive. I'm sharing this story in the hopes that it resonates with those who've encountered similar situations. I told my new job I'm Catholic so I don't have to work Sundays. I started a new job Thursday. And like the title said, I told them I am Catholic so I don't have to work on Sunday. I'm not actually Catholic. I'm not even religious by any means, I just don't want to work. Upon commencing my new employment on Thursday, I found it necessary to disclose my supposed faith as a means of securing Sundays off. In reality, I am not affiliated with any particular religion or denomination. The primary motivation behind this declaration lies in preserving my family Sundays, as it is the only day we are all together. Utilizing my supposed faith as a justification for my desired day off has proven successful in the past. I have found that employers are more likely to accommodate this request when presented as a matter of personal conviction rather than a simple preference. Is this approach morally justifiable? Furthermore, are there potential repercussions arising from this action that could impact my professional or personal life in the future? TLDR, should I continue to claim to be Catholic to get Sundays off, or be honest about my true intentions and possibly face repercussions? WIBTA, if I asked my tattoo artist to cover up their own work? So a few years ago I got a tattoo from someone when they were just apprenticing at a shop. The tattoo is still good and I still like it, but now their work is at this amazing, mind-blowing level, and I kind of have a... Would I be the jerk if I asked my tattoo artist to revamp a piece of their own work? About 4 years ago, I had my first tattoo done by a relatively new artist at the shop, and while it still looks good, my perception of their style has significantly changed since then. The artist has now elevated their craft to an incredible level, and I find myself drawn to a different aesthetic for this particular arm piece. I'm keen on having them redo it, as I appreciate their unique style and have been consistently satisfied with their work. However, I'm unsure if it would be in bad taste to ask them to cover up their own initial creation. My coworker gave me a rose. Alright, granted he gave everyone a rose. He brought a dozen or 2 dozen white roses and gave one to everybody working that shift. I feel like it shouldn't be a big deal, but it is. This is the first time I ever got flowers for Valentine's Day. My colleague presented me with a rose. While it was a gesture shared by others, it still carried significant weight. He brought a large bouquet of white roses and handed one out to each of us working that shift, making an unexpected gesture. I feel a bit silly, but this small act left a lasting impression. It was my first time receiving flowers on Valentine's Day and the first time a man has given me a rose, let alone anything on this holiday. I'm not sure if you're a part of this community, but regardless, I want to express my gratitude to Anthony. You truly made my day. Edit. And I just realized you've also gifted me my first gold. Thank you Reddit community for being so kind. Told ya so a while ago. I posted here about my mill. She's not really a JN yet but definitely has her moments, mostly Beck stuff. Anyway, to summarize, I'm pregnant and she decided to come this week, my due date week, to try to be the first to see the baby even after IT. Prediction fulfilled. It's been some time since I shared my experiences with my mother-in-law, Mill, here. While she's not yet fully embracing our family's quirks, she does exhibit some traits that are reminiscent of a just no JN personality, often manifesting as borderline entitled child behavior. To summarize, I'm expecting a baby and my mill decided to visit this week, coinciding with my due date. However, I had suggested that it would be best for her to come later. Despite still being pregnant, my mill is set to leave in the morning. With only 3 days left until my due date and no signs of labor, it seems that our little bundle of joy will be fashionably late. It's almost as if someone should have warned her earlier. AITA for not wanting to give my Switch back? Hello. So, some context. My ex-boyfriend gave me as a gift last year a Switch. I never asked for it since I knew how expensive it was, but I thanked him very much for it and I was really grateful. He broke up with me 5 months ago. Am I the asshole for not wanting to return the gift? A bit of background information is necessary. My former boyfriend gave me a gift last year, a Switch, without me ever asking for one. I was aware that the Switch was expensive, but I still appreciated the thought and thanked him sincerely for the gift. It's been 5 months since we broke up, and during that time, I've been reflecting on the situation. He had emotionally cheated on me by developing feelings for someone he met online, which ultimately led to the end of our relationship. After we broke up, I asked him if he wanted the Switch back, given its value and the possibility that he might need the funds. However, he told me that I could keep it. Now, he's asking me to return the Switch, stating that it was a significant expense for him. Considering the circumstances, I'm wondering whether I'd be the asshole if I choose not to return it. This is a tricky situation and can go either way. On one hand, the Switch was a gift, and he's now asking for it back, citing financial reasons. On the other hand, he emotionally cheated on the person who gave him the gift, which might raise some concerns. Update: what day did you get married? Again. My ex got married a couple of years ago. We're still in touch because of the kids, to the woman he started seeing when we were still together. I've had to talk to her a lot over the years, but after she decided to verbally attack me. How's it that I keep forgetting the date of your special day? It's been a few years since my ex-husband tied the knot. We've managed to maintain a relationship for the sake of our children, which has its own set of challenges. He had met his new partner while we were still married. Since then, we've crossed paths numerous times, and I've had to be polite to her, given our circumstances. However, a particular incident a month before their wedding changed my approach towards her. She went out of her way to lash out at me verbally, making it clear that she harbors a deep-seated resentment towards me. Given this new dynamic, I've made a conscious effort to steer clear of her, opting not to engage in any potentially confrontational situations. Their anniversary falls on November 1st, but I've taken to wishing them a happy anniversary a day earlier, on Halloween, as a subtle yet meaningful gesture. It's the little moments that count. It's the small things. I just drove past the place where my childhood bully died in a car crash, after she stole the car and went joyriding. There used to be flowers there, and it always made me angry to know that someone as hateful and nasty as her had people memorializing her. This time though, as I drove by the site where my childhood tormentor met her untimely demise in a tragic car accident, I couldn't help but reflect on the past. Her reckless decision to steal a car and go joyriding ultimately led to her demise. In the past, I had often encountered floral tributes at this location, which only served to further exacerbate my animosity towards her. It seemed unfair that someone as cruel and hurtful as she had people paying their respects and honoring her memory. This time, however, I felt a sense of melancholy wash over me as I observed the empty space. Perhaps it was a sign of growing maturity, or maybe it was the collective grief and loss that I've witnessed over the past 18 months. Maybe it was simply the serendipity of driving along to music, lost in thought, as I chanced upon this spot where her life was cut short. I'm still unsure what it was about this moment that struck a chord within me, but it was a poignant and introspective experience nonetheless. Job took away lunch break and replaced it with PTO. located in Washington, D.C., employed at a major hospital system in the area. I didn't take a lunch at all last week because there was no coverage for the front office. Our manager went in and changed all my clock outs to SAW. Employment dilemma in the nation's capital. I work in the heart of Washington, D.C., for a prominent hospital system. Lately, my lunch break has been taken away and replaced with a mysterious deduction from my paid time off, PTO. This occurred when I was unable to take a lunch break due to a lack of coverage in the front office. As a result, I didn't take a lunch at all last week. However, my manager decided to manipulate my time records. She altered my clock out times to make it appear as though I had taken a lunch break, despite the fact that I didn't. She then proceeded to send me an email stating that my time didn't meet the 40-hour requirement for full-time employees, insinuating that I wasn't meeting the necessary work hours. Given that I had already accumulated 40 hours of work without taking a lunch break, I find it puzzling that my manager would claim otherwise. Furthermore, she chose to supplement the missing time with my PTO without my authorization. This raises questions about her decision-making process and its adherence to company policies. Is this action permissible? What protections do I have as an employee in this situation? I hooked up with somebody's wife I didn't know. Now she might be pregnant. I had met a woman in Vegas, and her and I went back to her place and hooked up. She said she was 29, I'm 26, but turns out she was married and had a child. She had come to Vegas to get away from me. A chance encounter in Las Vegas has left me reeling with guilt. I met a woman who claimed to be 29, but our brief affair may have far-reaching consequences. What I didn't know at the time was that she was married with a young child. Her desire for a temporary escape from her responsibilities led her to Vegas, and I was an unsuspecting participant. The aftermath of our tryst has revealed a shocking truth. She believes we may have conceived a child together. Although I used a condom as instructed, the possibility of fatherhood weighs heavily on my mind. The woman's deceit has left me questioning our entire encounter. My intention in sharing this story is to seek guidance on how to navigate this complex situation. Her claim of pregnancy has left me feeling trapped and uncertain about my next steps. Any advice or perspective would be greatly appreciated. TLDR: man may be father to child conceived with married woman in Vegas after she lied about her marital status. When I was younger, my parents wouldn't buy me a razor, so I used my dad's when I was younger, around 12 to 13. I was just going through puberty and started growing a lot of pubic hair. I was insecure and asked my parents to buy me a razor, obviously not telling them the real reason. During my early teenage years, I found myself struggling with the onset of puberty, marked by an unexpected surge in body hair. Feeling self-conscious, I made a request to my parents for a razor, conveniently citing the need to shave my arms as the reason for my desire. However, they politely declined my request. Not one to be deterred, I observed my father's morning grooming routine in the bathroom and spotted his facial razor and shaving cream. With a mix of curiosity and desperation, I seized the opportunity to borrow the razor, utilizing it to carefully trim the unwanted hair in the area I had been too embarrassed to mention earlier. The next day, as I watched my father go about his daily routine, I couldn't help but notice that he was using the very same razor I had used the day before. The irony of the situation wasn't lost on me, but it also served as a reminder that my parents were still unaware of my true reason for seeking a razor. Edit: the original story has been rewritten while maintaining its core message and events. No phone? No problem. My GM complained to my boss about myself and or partner being on our phones during work hours. Didn't say a word to us directly. We both use an app for work, and we communicate with numerous staff constantly by text or email via our phones. So we deleted th. No mobile devices. No problem. A new approach: my supervisor expressed concerns to our manager about my partner and I consistently using our mobile devices during work hours. The conversation took place behind our backs, rather than directly with us. Our jobs require frequent communication with colleagues through our work app, usually via text or email. In an effort to address the issue, my partner and I removed the app from our personal phones and vowed to refrain from using our mobile devices for work-related purposes during work hours. However, this decision has led to our team members now needing to physically visit our area for any issues that arise, resulting in complaints about the inconvenience this has caused. To resolve this, our supervisor was forced to provide us with tablets on which to access our work app, and face-to-face interactions have become the norm for addressing all other concerns. TLDR, our boss banned us from using our phones for work due to a complaint from our supervisor, forcing us to switch to tablets for work communication, resulting in more inconvenience for our team. AITA for being upset at my parents who forgot me when we ate out. So I have a cousin that is about 7 that my extended family on my mother's side doted on, since she is the youngest, and my uncle had her rather late in life when he is in his late 40s. I was about 19 WH. Am I the asshole for being upset that my parents forgot me when we went out to dinner? As the only adult child on my mother's side, I have a younger cousin who is a favorite among our extended family. Born when I was 19, she's more like a niece to me than a cousin, given the significant age gap. Our family often lets her get away with things that I wouldn't have been allowed to do at her age, but I tend to hold her to the same standards as my younger nieces and nephews on my dad's side. After graduating college with honors at 26, I was looking forward to celebrating with my parents. However, they chose to attend my cousin's piano recital instead, citing its importance. This incident still stings, especially since my brother and his girlfriend attended my graduation. Recently, our families went out for dinner, but things took a turn when I received a work call and stepped away to answer it. With the high noise level, my dad was footing the bill, so I didn't think twice about taking a call. When I finished and returned to the table, my family was nowhere to be found. I tried calling them multiple times, but they didn't answer. Panicked and AITA for being hurt that my mill wanted to exclude my daughter from Thanksgiving and Christmas to protect my SIL. 31F. I'm married to my husband Tyler, 32M, and I gave birth to our first child, a baby girl, almost 3 months ago. I love Tyler very much, and I always felt a difficult family conundrum. 28F. My husband Tyler, 31M, and I welcomed our first child into the world a couple of months ago. This new addition has brought immense joy to our lives and our family, especially since I always wished for a bigger family unit when I was growing up with just my mom. My husband's family has been incredibly loving and welcoming, and I've always felt grateful to be a part of it. However, his twin sister Ashley has always been a bit distant towards me, which has made things a bit awkward. Despite this, I've tried my best to be kind and understanding, especially given her recent struggles with infertility. Recently, we had a family dinner at our place, and things took an uncomfortable turn. My mill mentioned that Ashley was having a tough time with her current situation and that she was worried everyone would focus too much on our new baby. She suggested we either sit out on the family Thanksgiving and Christmas celebrations this year or find a sitter so the focus wouldn't be solely on our daughter. My husband was furious and demanded that Ashley should be the one to take a step back if she couldn't manage her emotions. My mill insisted that she was only trying to protect Ashley, who's going through a TIFU by playing Never Have I Ever. Thanks to the fuck up, I'm writing this on my phone, so I apologize ahead of time for any typos. So last night a few friends came to my place to pre-drink before going out clubbing. We were drinking vodka in glass bottles, fuck up one, and Vega. The aftermath of a night out. Thanks to my clumsiness, I'm typing this on my phone, so please bear with me as you read through this post. It started when some friends came over for a pre-drink session before heading out to the club. We were sipping on vodka from glass bottles, and eventually, we began playing Never Have I Ever. The game became quite risque, and the final round was Never Have I Ever Had Sex on a Table. I'm sure you can guess what happened next. Fast forward to a few hours later, when I brought one of the girls back home. Since McDonald's was closed, we decided to whip up some ramen instead. My apartment doesn't have a stove, so I placed a pot of water on the hot plate on my table. As things progressed, we ended up hooking up, and, determined not to lose the game next time, we eventually made our way to the table. Meanwhile, the water was boiling, my laptop was playing music on the table, and the vodka bottles were still out. The table's leg snapped, sending everything crashing to the ground, including us and the boiling water, which landed all over my MacBook. The next morning was spent recovering from entitled aunt unknowingly ended her own financial support throwaway because my family knows my main account. Warning. Long post. This actually happened at Christmas last year, but the effects are now being felt full force. My older sister, let's call her Ria, and our mom age. Turbulent family dynamics come full circle. Warning. Long post. A bitter exchange between my sister Ria and our aunt Jana has left me stunned, but it's the aftermath that has left me speechless. The incident occurred during our family's visit to the Philippines last year, but the consequences of that conversation are only now becoming apparent. Ria and our mom had a strained relationship for as long as I can remember, largely due to Ria's strong will and our mom's traditional values. Our mom, who grew up in a poor household with 9 siblings, always emphasized the importance of education as a means to escape poverty. She supported several of her siblings and their children, including Aunt Jana, with her hard-earned money. However, Ria had always expressed her disapproval of this generosity, believing it was being taken advantage of. After a 5-year rift, Ria and our mom reconciled, but their relationship remained fragile. When our mom passed away, Ria took on the responsibility of managing the estate and ensuring the continued financial support for Aunt Jana and her daughter. Unbeknownst to me, Ria had also been quietly funding Jana's living expenses and her daughter's college fund. During our visit to Jana's house, a heated conversation AITA for kicking my mom out of the room so I could talk to my doctor privately. I'm gonna keep this short. I, 16F, have felt very anxious all of the time, feel really depressed, and so on. I've mentioned this to my mom, but she just told me that it's in my head and that I'm thin. Am I the asshole for asking my mom to leave my doctor's appointment so I could discuss my health issues privately? To give some context, I've been feeling overwhelmed with anxiety and sadness lately, and I've expressed these emotions to my mom. However, she dismissed my concerns by saying they're just in my head and that I'm fine. During a recent doctor's appointment for my sister and me, I took the opportunity to speak with the doctor privately. My mom initially insisted on staying, but I politely asked her to leave the room. She claimed to be my mother and needed to know what was going on, but I insisted that she leave, and she eventually complied with my sister. Following the appointment, my mom confronted me about not sharing my concerns with her and demanded that I reveal what was wrong immediately. When I refused, she went to my dad and accused me of being rude. My dad then reprimanded me for not apologizing to my mom right away. Am I the asshole in this situation? Because I know you lovable assholes are all about the updates, and seriously, thanks for all the kindness on my post. You all helped break the cycle of panic. Original. Turns out it wasn't my luck. It turns out I've got a bit of a situation on my hands. I appreciate all the kindness and support you've shown me, and it really helped to break the cycle of panic. As it turns out, it wasn't my landlord who was the issue at all, but rather my roommate, who claimed that my landlord had refused permission for in-home hospice care. I know it sounds unbelievable, but I've got a roommate who seems to think that being terminally ill is just a label, and not a serious situation that requires proper planning and understanding. We had specifically moved in together with the understanding that I would be able to pass away in this house, but apparently my roommate thought that wouldn't actually happen. The roommate's lack of transparency became clear when she finally gave me my landlord's contact information after I threatened to involve lawyers. When I called the landlord, I found out that my roommate had never even discussed this with her, and that the whole thing was a ruse to get me kicked out of the house. Given that this is an illegal eviction, my lawyer is on the case and we're planning to pursue it fully. Since I'm a subtenant of the roommate, we're going after her, and it looks like my husband screams while puking. It's horrible, but I get enraged when my husband is sick because of the way he pukes. He screams and gargles. I don't mean normal noises, I'm talking full-on all-out screaming. It's legitimately unnecessary. I've talked to him about it. My partner's vomiting fits are a cacophonous nightmare. It's disturbing, but I find myself infuriated when my partner is ill because of the manner in which he vomits. He lets out ear-piercing shrieks and makes guttural noises, which seems utterly excessive. I've brought this to his attention, but his response is that it somehow aids his recovery. I'm not convinced, especially when it happens at ungodly hours, like 3:30 a.m., after a night of overindulgence. The sheer volume of his retching is astonishing, and I'm still trying to comprehend why he feels the need to make so much noise while being sick. It's a spectacle I've never witnessed in another adult. I must correct myself. My partner doesn't have a drinking problem. We hardly ever drink, and when he does, he's not typically susceptible to severe illness. However, when he does get sick, it's an experience unlike any other. This morning, I vented my frustrations on a social media platform, and it led to some entertaining exchanges with fellow users. It's amusing to think that we've all been through similar experiences and can now commiserate about it. So, thank you to everyone who shared in TIFU by telling my supervisor that his wife, also mother of two, is a cheating bitch. I'll start with some quick backstory. I recently moved and took a pretty good job sandblasting in Greensboro. Probably the best job I've had so far. The crew I work with are pretty cool in the TIFU by revealing my ex's infidelity to my supervisor, who happens to be married to her. I recently moved to Greensboro and started a new job as a sandblaster, which I'm really enjoying. My supervisor has a great sense of humor and is an excellent manager, making it the perfect fit for me. Our crew is also very friendly and fun to work with. During our break, we started discussing past relationships and breakups. I shared a story about a girl I dated 15 years ago who cheated on me. When my supervisor asked if I'd ever looked her up on Facebook, I confessed that I'd never had the urge to do so, but then I did it anyway. I mentioned that she was a cheating bitch, which was a huge mistake. My supervisor started laughing, thinking it was a joke, but then I showed him her profile picture. He asked how I knew she was his wife, and I was equally confused, thinking he was playing a prank on me. I scrolled through her profile and saw pictures of her with their kids, which shocked me. I remembered a friend telling me that she moved to Greensboro, but I'd forgotten about it. I apologized to my supervisor, and he seemed to take it TIFU by getting sexy with my girlfriend on her school essay. This happened just a couple minutes ago, and I'm red-faced without even having to be in the room. I was in my online classes when my girlfriend messaged me about proofreading the essay she wrote on Google Docs for in. I just made a huge mistake with my girlfriend in front of her whole class. This just happened, and I'm mortified. It all started when my girlfriend messaged me about reviewing an essay she wrote for extra credit. We were both logged into Google Docs, and I began commenting on her work to help her improve the grammar. Everything was going smoothly until I decided to sneak in a lighthearted comment at the end. While reading the sentence, "Phelps dominates his competition in races," I highlighted the word, "dominates," and wrote, "You can dominate me." I had assumed she was the only one who would see it. But, of course, that was not the case. She immediately responded, "My teacher can see that," and I frantically deleted the comment. I tried to reassure myself that the teacher must have been looking at something else, but it turned out that my girlfriend had shared the essay with her entire class as an example. To my horror, the whole class was laughing at my comment, and I realized that I had made a huge mistake. Fortunately, it seems like they found it amusing, and I'm hoping it won't be held against me. TLDR. I made a flirt AITA for getting my sister expelled from school. I, 14M, recently got my twin sister, 14F, expelled from school after reporting her for the bullying she did. I don't think I did anything wrong, and my grandpa, 72M, is on my side, but parents, 40 meters and 40F, think I betrayed sister. Was I in the wrong for getting my sister kicked out of school? I, 14M, Recently had my 14-year-old twin sister expelled from school after telling on her for bullying someone. I don't think I did anything wrong, and my grandfather, 72M, agrees with me, but my parents, 40 meters and 40F, think I betrayed my sister. My sister has never been the kindest person. She got in trouble for bullying in elementary school and earlier in middle school, received detentions and ISS before, but this is the worst punishment she's faced so far. She can be mean to our siblings and cousins if she wants to. We are in 8th grade now. A few weeks ago, I was playing basketball outside during lunch with my friends when we saw a boy crying on the grass. We went to see what was wrong and found out that a group of kids were bullying him because of his interests and appearance. They were calling him names and using a derogatory slur. We told him we thought he was great, and he started talking to us about his interests, which we didn't know much about. We tried to discuss sports with him, but he actually knew a lot about fashion and was taking courses at a local college. Don't come in tomorrow. I don't care who calls, you're suspended. Background. I have worked for copy shops for a very long time. I worked as lead production in multiple Kinkos, and subsequently I can make the copiers pretty much dance to any tune I set, due to learning therein. Do not show up tomorrow. You're suspended, and I don't care who calls. Background. I've spent years honing my skills in the copy shop industry, having worked as lead production in multiple Kinkos stores. This experience has allowed me to master the ins and outs of the equipment, essentially making me a virtuoso when it comes to operating the copiers. After relocating, I took a contract position with a competitor, Icon, which placed me closer to home and in a high-traffic, paper-intensive banking company. Unfortunately, my new supervisor was a stubborn, close-minded woman who frequently belittled her underlings, including myself. When I started, I attempted to streamline her processes, but she resisted, claiming she liked doing things her way. Her reluctance to adapt was accompanied by an implicit threat, which I chose to ignore since we worked opposite schedules. As long as she was around, things remained status quo, but once she left, I would tackle my work and make significant progress. Turnaround times would plummet from 24 hours to under 5 hours, and the clients began to notice, often bringing their projects in after she departed to ensure timely completion. The tension between my supervisor, boss lady, BL, and me eventually AITA for not making dinner for my husband after he was rude to our son. My son, 13, has recently got into cooking and he's amazing at it. Usually when he was experimenting or making food for just himself he washed up. He started helping me out with meals, and 2 times a week. Am I wrong for not cooking dinner for my husband after he was rude to our son? Our 13-year-old son has been taking an interest in cooking and has shown impressive skills in the kitchen. He often makes meals for himself and occasionally assists me with larger family meals. My husband has been insisting that our son wash his own dishes after meals, but I've been taking care of the task to avoid feeling unnecessary. However, my husband recently sat me down and emphasized that our son should take responsibility for his own mess, especially considering he's capable of cooking. When I pointed out that the same principle didn't apply to family meals, he became defensive and tried to justify his stance. I responded by pointing out the inconsistency, which led to an uncomfortable silence. He later attempted to rationalize his behavior but was unable to provide a convincing explanation. That's when I decided to set a new rule. Everyone involved in making dinner must also contribute to cleaning up afterwards. If my son